Hello, welcome to Nattys Crafts. I'm Natalie. I'll be doing all the crafting. And I welcome you today. We're going to do another challenge, this time hosted by Christy Creates. It's the CHIC for Cheap challenge, where I'm going to be duping at, or I'm going to be recreating a item from West Elm and an item from Pottery Barn. Neither are exact dupes or exact redos, but close enough that we're going to save a whole bunch of money on these two items. So I sure hope that you'll subscribe, and I have to take a minute. I do have to take a minute because I looked up the other day and I was up a significant number of subscribers. So I thank you all so much for taking a second to push the button and subscribe. I really do appreciate it with all my heart. And I sure hope more of you will also subscribe and like and comment, and also hit the bell, the little bell that tells you when I create a new video so that you can actually see the videos that I create. It's tons of fun. So anyway, this will be quick. Let's go take a look. So here's what we'll make first. This little pencil cup, similar to a leather pencil cup I found on West Elm, but I didn't have enough leather. So here's what you'll need. Just one of those white cups from Dollar Tree, some burlap, and some leather. This was some scrap leather I had from a boot that I took apart. And so we're going to start by covering up this cup. These cups, I think it's like a 4-pack, maybe from the Dollar Tree, 3 or 4-pack. They're rather large, but I am going to cover them. I'm going to do 2 layers of burlap to completely cover the white. Now you could just paint it brown or black first and then cover it with 1 layer of burlap, but I didn't do that. This is the way I did it. So I just got my length right, and then I am going to end up having to go back in and sand. Well, not go back in because I didn't really start yet. But see there, I decided to sand because it was really shiny and slippery. And of course, we're going to use hot glue, so we need that hot glue to stick. So I did the rim as well as the full body of that cup. And then we're going to just glue the burlap onto the cup. So I just started in the very corner, just a little bit of hot glue. You can see I've got almost all of my fingers covered in the finger protectors because I've been burnt one too many times. So just got to protect yourself. And then I started down in the corner and then I move up the cup basically. And that first line, you want it to be straight, but obviously mine was not perfect, which I'm okay with. Again, all this will be covered because it's going to be more than 1 layer of burlap. And this, by the way, this was burlap from Walmart. I believe it's 5.5 inches wide, which is quite wide. And I got it on some crazy special they were having for 40 cents. So I got the whole roll for 40 cents. I went back the next day and they were charging regular price again. So I don't know what happened for 40-cent day, but I like that. Anyway, so I'm covering the whole cup. I'm going to do the full cup, and then I'm going to do, again, a second layer. So just keep wrapping it around and gluing it. And because the cup is not perfectly straight up and down, you're going to end up with a bit of overlap. So here's what I did. I just made a cut in the burlap so that I could pull it down flat again, and then it won't cause any problems. And so I just hot glued that little extra flap down. You could cut it off too. That would be maybe even a better option. But I just made it so that it was as straight as possible and just hot glued it down. And because it is burlap, of course the hot glue is going to come through it. So you don't want to use actually a whole bunch of it. Now here's where the end comes, and so I'm just going to make that as straight as I possibly can. Make sure it lines up so that you're covering up, the first layer. And then I just made it as straight as I could, and again, just going to hot glue that down. And I'm always starting at the bottom and then pushing up as I'm gluing. Not sure why that matters, but it does somehow. And here I'm just gonna, all that extra on the top, we're gonna cover that with the leather. So I'm just gonna cut it all off. And it is all hot glued up there, so I'm not worried about it coming free or coming apart. So we're just gonna follow the cup line and cut it around. And then you'll have a nice even cup, or top, I guess I should say. Then we're gonna work on getting the leather around the top of the cup. Now, if you go to Walmart and get some vinyl or faux leather from Walmart or Joann's or wherever, this would have been a much easier project. I'm just using the scraps that I had from these tall boots that I cut apart. And so that's what I'm working with, which made it a little more difficult, and I had more seams than I should have, but it is what it is. So this is what I had. So I only needed, it was probably about 2 inches thick, and then it needed to wrap around the full top of the cup. So again, just get the hot glue and start to get to work here. Now you do want this to be as smooth as possible, because obviously you're going to see it. So, do your best to not make big hot glue lumps and all that. Press the hot glue out as you're laying the leather down. Just press it out, make it flat. Here I'm doing the end where the 2 pieces of leather meet. And again, we don't want lumps and bumps, so we're just going to make it as smooth as possible. And we're going to lay one end over the other to cover up the seam. And again, if you would have only had to have used 1 piece of leather, you wouldn't have had so many seams. It would have looked better. But again, I'm doing what I can with what I have. I'm just pressing that out. We don't want any lumps or bumps. And the ends I use quite a bit more of the hot glue, because I really do want it to be secure and I don't want to have to worry about it falling off or whatever, or coming undone. Then we're going to work on the top. Now the top, we are literally just going to fold over the top of the cup. So that's going to cover up the seam of the burlap, and then also just make it look more finished on the leather part. So we're just folding it over, and you want the pieces of leather to be the same width all the way around, so that when you fold it over, it's the same all the way around inside, just like it is on the outside. And then I did have to cut just a bit on the end here, just so that it would finish nicely without any lumps and bumps. Now, on my boot that I was using here, there were 2 seams on the leather there, or the fake leather, and so I had to kind of figure that out. Here I was trying to figure out, do I want to add another piece? Do I want to add a buckle? I decided not to. You could, or you don't have to. Obviously, it's your craft. Do what you need. Now on the bottom, I decided to add some cork down at the bottom. This was just some spare cork. Of course, this is all spares here. So this was just what I had, some leftover cork from some cork board I made. So we're just going to make a bottom for this cup so that it sits nicely, doesn't make noise, doesn't scratch, nothing like that. And then I was trying to just burn off any of the burlap that was sticking out or hanging off. I ended up kind of burning a bit of a mess right there, but that's okay, because here it is. And I think it looks good. I'm actually quite happy with it. I don't know if you know my style, if you've seen my videos, you know that I like very simple techniques. I like black and I like white. This I did like. I did like this burlap with the leather. I think because the soft with the hard or whatever, I don't know. I like that leather. This is part of Christy Creates' monthly challenge that she does, the CHIC for Cheap challenge, the first Monday of every month. So thanks, Christy, for that. Here's our next project. It'll be this little tray that I saw on Pottery Barn that I'm going to be making. So here's what you'll need. And this project as well, I'm using again that scrap leather from those same boots, and just doing what I can. So the size, I had to make it where it fit the leather that I had. So here I'm making the base. It's going to be a little tray. So I'm making the base of the tray just using the very large craft sticks from Walmart. And I'm going to make the bottom and then also 4 sides all around. And when I was doing this, I had to leave a little bit sticking out on the bottom so that I had something more to attach the sides to. So you see there's a little bit sticking out there that I'm able to attach the top or the side panel to. So now we're going to go ahead and add the leather to that base that we just made. And you want the leather to be, I don't know, I think it was about 2 inches bigger. Depends on how, what the size of the craft sticks you're using are. But you want it to be big enough to wrap around the craft sticks. Mine was a little small. I wish it were a little bit bigger. So I'm just going to, again, just hot glue the base down to the leather. Right in the middle, so I have enough space on all 4 sides, and then I'm going to glue the sides up and over the sides. Does that make sense? The sides of the leather I'm going to glue to the sides of the box. How about that? And here I'm just folding it like a present. I want the edges to be very smooth and very nice. So just folding it, again, like a present. And just adding enough glue so that it's not going to come loose. And then once we have the sides down, then we're going to want to get the top bent over. So I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the top there and just going to bend it over the top of the wood. And again, just putting the side down, smoothing it out. Again, we don't want lumps and bumps. And then we're going to fold it over like a present. And make sure to get the very end there, make sure to get it down nice and snug so that it doesn't come loose. And so again, we're just wrapping that end like a present, really snug, really smooth, pushing out all the little bubbles of the hot glue. And then I wanted to add this little leather strip on the inside. This is completely unnecessary. And if you would have had a proper size, you could have skipped that altogether. So here is how it looks when it's done. And I love it. It's a leather box. And I love it. It goes right along with all my other office supplies, which is I think why I love it so much. So here's some of the other stuff that is in my office. And so you can see it just all goes together. And the leather is just, it really... I'm going to have to start working with leather, I see, because I like it a lot. I thank you so much for stopping by today and sharing in my craft time. And of course, I appreciate Christy from Christy Creates for creating this challenge, this monthly challenge. And I was so happy to join in this time. And if you would, I'd love it if you'd like, comment, and subscribe. And again, I appreciate you subscribers, each and every single one of you. I appreciate you so much. Y'all have a wonderful rest of your day.